Anytime you can be here today is a good start. Tournament games are hard to win, as evidenced by the last couple days. A lot of good teams aren't playing today, and told our guys that to appreciate the opportunity and not take anything for granted, and enjoy it, and prepare to play a really good VCU club tomorrow. Really impressed by what they do on both ends of the floor. A lot of good players, a lot of depth. Coach, Will's done a great job there, and our guys respect that. The tape we've seen so far on them, our guys have seen, gets their attention pretty easily. So they know we've got a tough challenge. We'll have to play well to have a chance to win tomorrow.
Question on the back, and we'll move to the side.
Joey Helmer, OUinsider.com. Coach, VCU is a team that really kind of gets up into you defensively. What do you see out of them on the defensive end of the court?
They do that very well. They dictate defensively. They randomly will trap. They'll play a little three-quarter. They'll mix in a little zone. From what we've seen, they do all that well. They've got guys that are tough and challenge the ball and get into you. And again, our guys will have to be strong with the ball and move the ball and set good screens and do all the little things you have to execute things well.
Question on the outside right.
Yeah, Cliff Brunn, Associated Press. Coach, you've made a career out of building programs up to a higher level. As someone who's done that, looking at what VCU has done over the years, what impresses you most about what they've done in building their program over the last maybe 6-7 years?
Well, it appears they've got a culture that players are bought in. The identity of their program is solid in terms of hardworking, tough defensively, attacking offensively. I think they've got things in place where players are proud of what they're doing. Success they've had, indicates that they have done it well. It's something they can recruit to. I think you always want to have that consistency one year to the next, regardless of who's there, that you're playing a certain way that others appreciate what you're doing and the effort that your players are putting forth. And VCU clubs over the years, and this year for sure, have done that. They play extremely hard and well organized and get after you on both ends.
Got a question on the left.
Martin Patton, Fox 25. What do you see as some things you got to do against VCU tomorrow? I mean, in a situation, it's basically a home game for you, but they kind of relish, seems like, playing that underdog role they have in the past. What do you have to do tomorrow?
Have to be strong with the ball, have to be attacking, have to, finish at the rim, have to do a good job of getting the ball out of our hands and making plays for each other. Defensively, they've got a lot of weapons, so you've got to cover the ball on the perimeter, and a lot of different guys that can shoot the ball well, and then the big guys inside are very effective in establishing a low post position. Again, like with any good clubs, and VCU is a really good club. You've got to do a lot of things well on both ends of the floor.
On the aisle, on the back.
Curtis Fitzpatrick, WWLS Radio. Coach, is their pressing style similar to West Virginia when you've faced them? Are there similarities?
Well, any press, there's similarities. Different in that, they seem to be a little more zone-oriented initially and trap randomly, where West Virginia may be a little bit more man on the ball initially and then trapping randomly. So a little bit similar, of course, because they're both pressing, but different in that base starting point. But both effective, both very good, both tough. Again, you have to be strong with the ball. Receivers have to be available, have to get out of your hands, have to meet passes, all those things that you have to do against pressure teams.
Question on the left and the middle.
Kyle Fredrickson with the Oklahoman. Coach, you mentioned in your opening all these upsets that we've seen in this tournament, all your tournament experience. How much of a challenge is it going against some of these lower-seeded teams that are able to play a little bit more reckless, a little bit more loose, and avoiding those upsets? And also, does it get any different past the first round? Is it easier to combat some of that as you move through the tournament?
I don't think people, maybe this year more than others even, that, the seeding number doesn't really mean as much, it seems like this year, because there's so much balance. There's so many good teams. I don't think, our players don't think about, the seeding of VCU or ourselves as much as recognizing VCU is a really good ball club. And just like the teams, I think they're a club that, to line up and play in the Big 12 just like the other 7 or 8 that are in the tournament. So, no, our guys have total respect for VCU, and they certainly aren't thinking about them being the lower-seeded team at all. That doesn't enter our minds.
Question on the front right.
Coach, at times in yesterday's game, Cal State, it looked like they had you guys just a little bit out of rhythm at times. And you had said after the game that the performance level was not what you would like it to have been and that you need to figure it out before tomorrow. Have you identified exactly what it is that you need to figure out and what they did?
I thought Cal State, Bakersfield did a good job of kind of disrupting us a little bit, knocking us out of rhythm. Even though we didn't turn it over that much against their pressure, we didn't attack effectively against their pressure either. I thought they knocked us on our heels a little bit with regard to, getting into a flow. I thought our receivers could do a better job with spacing yesterday, getting the ball. Again, oftentimes when you look at people that are getting pressed, you look at the guy with the ball and kind of point the finger at him, but oftentimes it's the receivers not being where they need to be or spacing the floor appropriately. And I thought we had a little problem with that early on. Did a little better job in the second half with it, but hopefully that'll carry over to tomorrow.
Here on the front right side.
Yeah, Lon, John Hoover, the franchise. That said, all that about what you have to do better, and you've also been over what VCU does well. What's your biggest concern going into tomorrow? Is it what VCU does, scouting, making sure you got all those X's and O's crossed, or is it your own team, your own needs?
Yeah, really at this point, I don't think many games are about the X's and O's as much as making plays, instinctively reacting to each other, spontaneous decisions, getting loose balls, finishing opportunities at the rim, taking advantage when you have an advantage to finish. And you watch games on TV, there's so many, you miss a layup here and it results in a 3 there. And all of a sudden it's a 5-point swing. And I think just being more efficient, being more attentive to finishing an opportunity when you have it, and with VCU, they block a lot of shots around the rim. So you got to pump fake, you got to be strong. You have to do a good job of finishing a play. And then getting back and, again, getting loose balls, 50-50 balls, all those things are important always. But the VCU does a great job with that. So we've got to match them in those areas.
Question on the front.
Coach, again, a little bit funnier question here. Will Wade was asked about being one of the youngest coaches in D1 and having that youthful appearance, and he actually joked that he was mistaken for a player on the team by his bus driver. Have you ever been mistaken for a player on your team or anyone else for that matter connected with the team?
Not recently, that's for sure. Maybe 40 years ago, I don't know. But no, Will's done such a good job, and you don't think about him being a young coach. You think about him being a very good coach, and when you watch these teams play, so I could see that happening. Not that I remember those days, but no, he's done a great job.
Question on the aisle.
Ryan's kind of struggled at the free throw line. Looked like he's losing a little confidence. Is that something you talk to him about, or just let him work through it himself because he's a senior? How you handle that?
I would talk to him about it. It's a confidence thing. He's got lots of little rhythm up there, and just a matter of trusting your routine. Stepping up there, getting a good base. It's easier said than done. When it's confidence related, that's a tough thing to work through sometimes. But yeah, we address it and square on and encourage him to step up there and want to be there and knock down that first one and then string up a few.
Questions for Coach? Okay, Coach.
Thanks very much.
A lot. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.